Hello and welcome to Meet Our Makers, an artist interview podcast produced in association with Beats Per Minute. I'm your host, Jeremy J. Facet. On this episode, we get to meet the tallest man on Earth. The tallest man on Earth is the pseudonym, of course, of one Kristian Matsson. Hailing from Sweden, Kristian has been in the singer-songwriter game for quite a while, sort of setting the indie folk blogosphere on fire with his early set of albums such as The Wild Hunt and Shallow Grave. And now he's back with his new record called Henry Street. In this chat, Kristian and I talk a lot about Henry Street, including its various themes, the sort of momentum he had going into it, how the record feels a little different for him from his other work, especially his prior record, I Love You, It's a Fever Dream. We talk about how COVID influenced the writing and recording of this record, how his life is these days back home in Sweden in between tours, his relationship to live performance, and much more. We touch upon his dreamy experience of seeing Joni Mitchell at Newport Folk Festival last year. And then we play a quick little game of what I like to call Setlist Pop Quiz. If you have not already joined the Patreon, Meet Our Makers is now on Patreon, so please consider becoming a monthly subscriber. It's cheap, and I will deeply appreciate it. And you can get some fun perks, including right now, the ability to submit questions for Q&A segments for future guests. So go to patreon.com/meetourmakers and subscribe today. You will have my deep, sincere gratitude. Thank you for listening. This is me, meeting the tallest man on Earth. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can. Hi, Jeremy. How you doing? Sorry,
I'm great. How are
struggling
you?
with Zoom stuff, even though it's 3 years in.
No, it acts up sometimes.
Oh yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Connecticut.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right by New York. Are you you're in Sweden right now?
I am. I'm in my house in the countryside in Sweden.
I'm glad you have good Wi-Fi out there.
Yeah, no, I actually have. There was this thing where we got fiber internet in the village, but a lot of the other neighbors have opted out to get it. A lot of old people here, so it's just like I just got a lot of the Jews.
Yeah,
so there's not a lot of people on it. So
yeah, you just got extra, I guess.
Great.
So you're up there in the village countryside. Are you with your horses?
Yes, I mean they are in the next village over. It's
okay.
Like the term village is it's a like how I live like next to to the country road, and there are these little formations of houses that we call villages, but there's like 30 people who live in my little village, and then you drive 5 more minutes and there's 30 more people who live over there. So
right.
they're 5 minutes away, and I just got back home like a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks ago, from been touring for a long time this spring, so it's pretty magical to be here right now, to be honest.
Yeah. And when do you head out again?
I actually have a lot of time off.
Oh, okay.
In the coming months. I'm doing some small stuff, like I'm doing a charity gala this weekend and stuff like that, but tour doesn't start until first days of August. Okay. So, but then I do August, September, October,
right,
and then a couple of weeks off, and then November, December. So I'm glad I'm going to get to enjoy Swedish summer. So
yeah, no, that's nice. So thank you for agreeing to come on and chat for a little bit. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, thank you for wanting to talk with me.
Yeah, of course. No, I've been listening to your stuff for quite a while. So when this new album came out, I was excited to sort of jump at requesting to see if you would come on, and you graciously said yes. So I'm very grateful.
No, I'm grateful we can do this now. Also, after the tour, it's been
Yeah.
been a long tour, and now my brain has started to come back. You know.
Right. Yeah, no, I think I initially reached out probably when the album was announced or maybe a month out, and
Yeah.
your people were like, yeah, he's on the move, so so might have to wait a little bit. But I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm
No,
I'm
I
glad
get.
we're getting to do
I
this now.
Yeah. Yes. Now we're here. It's great.
So your new record, Henry Street, it's been out for about a month. Um,
Yep.
you were just touring it. You just said you came back a couple weeks ago. And you toured pretty
Yeah.
extensively, played a lot of dates, and your shows, they're not 10-song shows. You play pretty robust shows, so I'm sure it feels good to be home and sort of relaxing for a bit. But what does it sort of feel like now? I usually talk to people when the album's almost out, but now you have had it out and you've toured it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how you are feeling now that sort of the dust is settling a little bit.
I mean, it was it was pretty. It was a little unusual way of doing it, but it was pretty great. So I have had a band with me now. Uh, we're a four-piece all together, and they were here in Sweden. There's two Americans and one Swede, apart from me in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And they were over here prior to the record release, and we were rehearsing the songs. And I hadn't played them with the band for almost a year when I recorded them a year prior to that. So that was pretty amazing, of feeling like that they, I mean, the band is amazing, and just the excitement was just, it was just building so much. And then so we went over to the States and started touring over there before the album was out. So we got to tour songs that people hadn't heard.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like, I mean, of course, there will always be people they will share the most for, like Love Is All or something, but it just felt that it really held up because I mean, we were excited playing them, and it was a nice little, uh, I don't know what to say. Yeah, nice little testing the songs for real, because we knew they hadn't heard them before. And then we went straight to Europe, and the album came out as that tour started, and you could, and over here for the first time in my career, like the radio has been playing songs like it never happened before here in I'm talking Sweden, Scandinavia,
Mm-hmm.
and also other places in Europe, and just like to see that people, yeah, it was in that transition of some people. I know they were excited when one of the new songs started, so it's cool. I don't know how to explain it. It's I can't
Yeah.
say anything like intellectual. It's really cool. Just to get to play the new songs, and yeah, we did 32 shows all in all. So
Yeah, that's a lot.
and I mean, it's yeah, it was a lot, and touring is crazy these days. I don't sound like an old man, like we're what we all talking about, but like inflation and all that. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
really expensive to tour all of a sudden. So did a couple of more shows than I usually do. So it was pretty. It's a pretty packed schedule and pretty wild traveling, but I mean, it's the thing that I do. It's the thing I've been doing for my whole adult life, and it's the thing that I love, and that I feel I can be powerful. I've the one thing I found where I can, that it just really suits me to be
Mm-hmm.
to be on a stage, play songs. So I love every second of it. So it's just to get to go and do 32 shows. It's really cool. But like you say, yeah, we play 20 songs, maybe 21 at times. So
Yeah.
times 32, and I do run around a lot. Like I just turned 40 on this tour, but I feel I feel I'm more energized than I've ever been. So
Yeah, that's great though.
I yeah, I came home. I just really needed a break after running around that much. So
Yeah.
came home to Sweden, and summer just started here, and it's like been 75 degrees every day, and all my cherry trees and apple trees are in bloom. And it's pretty dreamy.
No, that sounds lovely. That's a nice little button on a tour to come home to those blooms and nice weather.
Yes.
Yeah. So I caught you I've seen you one time. I'm trying to remember when. It was definitely pre-COVID, and it was a solo show in New Haven, Connecticut. I know you've played more recently with Daughter of Swords in New Haven, and I couldn't make it to that show. But I have my point being that I have not seen you play with a band. I think for a long time there, most of your shows were solo shows. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Yeah.
It's 2015 in 2015 and 16, after Dark Bird's Home came out. We were a 5-piece band for those years.
Okay.
But other than that, since 2006, I've been playing solo, and I played solo after that. So,
what do you think you like prefer about playing with the band? Is there anything that you prefer about it?
Yes, I prefer. I mean, you get because I always, I hear things in my head all the time when I play. And you that this is both a positive and negative playing with a band, because the dynamics are just you have that you have that extra, you have the low frequencies of bass, and you have the drums that prior to this I only heard in my head and the audience couldn't hear them. So it's that, you have that, but then also like the simple thing, the pure joy of playing with other people, making music with other people. And like and this time I really, since the album was recorded live, most of it was like the base of it are live takes, because the musicians were so fantastic, and we had there was special times coming out of the pandemic, so we were just it was just a very electric time and very emotional time and very powerful time when we recorded. So then I knew I needed to find musicians that I could have that with on stage, and I was really lucky that, because TJ Mayani, who plays drums on the record, who's such a marvel and beautiful.
Yeah, the drumming is incredible on this record.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible, and it was just jaw dropping in the studio, and also so it made me so much better. I just like, okay, Kristian, you need to step up now, like play your best. But then he couldn't tour, so a dear friend of mine who plays in my ex-wife's band over here in Sweden, Nisse, he could tour. He could tour, and he is of the same caliber of, a drummer with a jazz background, but also a hard hitter and a very beautiful human being. So, for the first time, I felt I got the wildness of, because when I was saying positive negatives about dynamics. When I play solo, I can control the dynamics exactly like I want it to be. Like I can take it down super quiet. I could yell loud at any like turn of my my little shoes, but can't do that. But we were getting there towards the end of touring. We were so locked in, and especially me and Nissa, the drummer, just having a drummer following, a guitar and banjo finger picking dude as a jazz drummer would do, just like being locked into the instrument that I was playing was something that I hadn't really experienced before, and that could, that it would lead to a lot of playfulness on stage, and just where you could so the shows could follow more the mood of the room than just like the pre-planned show.
So did you said you got a chance to play these songs before the album came out? Were they at all ever played before you even recorded them? Like, are some of them that old?
No,
Okay.
they all these songs were uh they were a part of like 20 pretty rough demos that I had
Mm.
walking into the recording week, or I think we recorded for, was it 2 weeks? Was it 14 days? No, it was 11 days. It was 14. Ended up recording 14 songs in 11
Mm.
days. And so they were, I'm very good at throwing away things, uh, ideas. And like if I work on them for too long, they would be, but they're in my little voice memo abyss, and
Hmm.
some demos that I do. But it just felt like a very special time. So I just didn't come with old things. No, they had never, like the Every Little Heart. It's on the album with TJ Mounties. Pretty wild drum beat and
Hmm.
super weird kick drum pattern. That's just so beautiful. I had not heard that in my head when I came up with that. I came up with that riff, those riffs, and that song on the day that I knew, because I moved back I used to live in Brooklyn, but I had my house in Sweden during those 5 years I was living over there, and I moved in the let's was it May June of 2020, maybe like 10 weeks or something into the pandemic. I moved back home to Sweden.
Mm.
I needed to be closer to help my old parents and stuff like that, and I was kind of locked out of I not kind of I was locked out of America for until the end of 2021,
Yeah.
which was tough. I didn't decide to move. I decided I needed to go home for a little bit, and then that turned into moving because I didn't go back. But I wrote that riff of Every Little Heart on the day when I knew I could come. I was going to fly the next day. That's just what I got. I got my visa and my passport, and I got a ticket for the next day to go to America. And I just sat down by my kitchen table and I just wrote Every Little Heart,
Hmm.
and that was like the start of the album, the writing for the album. And then, but I heard some other drums in my head, and then but I, on purpose, I just didn't tell musicians on, like, I didn't what they should play. I I knew I'd gathered these people that, I mean, many of them I've known for many years, like Phil Cook and Nick Sanborn.
Hmm.
I knew how, like, the I, how beautiful musicians and like humans they are. So I just wanted to hear what they came up with, like what they would react like, and TJ just shot that beat back to me, and I started playing, and it was I could never had dreamt that up by myself. So that's kind
Yeah.
of how it worked. It's a lot of credit to all the musicians why the album sounds like it does.
And did you always know you wanted this record to be pretty instrumentally robust? I mean, especially coming after Fever Dream, which was relatively spare. Um, this kind of is in some ways like your biggest sounding album.
Yeah.
Um, did you always want to have like more players than usual on these specific songs?
Yes, there's a lot of that goes into that. I was longing for, just being with people. I had
Mm.
spent a lot of time here on this little farm by myself. To just it it was just like a lot of waking ups to do over here. And because in the past, I think a lot of the reasons why I have done so much like DIY stuff, and of course I love to nerd out with tape recorders and being in my little studio over here. But I realized that a lot of the DIY was just out of a bad self-esteem of just like not daring to, not not having confidence in my own musicianship or my songwriting. That if I would think that I would get these thoughts of just like, maybe I should ask these people to play with me on this album, or maybe I should go to that studio. But then that little bugger in your head that's just like, no, maybe it's not. So then I would just like, all right, I just do it myself. Then there's no, I wouldn't have to challenge myself, that little coward ego inside. Just like, no, then you
Right.
don't have to just do it yourself. Then you're safe. And then I was like, why am I doing this? Because I know these people, a lot of them would probably want to try to play with me, and these songs can be pretty good. So I just like, I for the first time I just dared to do it, and I knew that I knew that it would be great. I knew that it would be great. Like then that because we had all been longing to play with other musicians, play music together, and just be with people together. So this is what it needs from the first. When I started to think about making an album, like this needs to be a band album, and the also as a response to like the pretty stupid irony of I love you, it's a fever dream. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that album. It had its purpose for it's exactly what it should be, but it was so silly. Like now you think about it, of course couldn't know about the future, but it was like in the end of 2018, I think, I
Mm-hmm.
recorded it, and I was living in Brooklyn. I just made this like, I'm not going to go to either Sweden or where I have a studio or to a real studio. I'm just going to have put up all these rules. Like I only have this limited amount of gear in my apartment. And it's like, I'm not going to see anyone. I'm going to isolate. I'm not going to see anyone for a month. And I'm going to write and record a record in a month and not hang out with anyone. And that's what I did. And just like, so I wanted to do the opposite now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I can't, that it's just so it really sounds like a guy who was in this apartment. And that's, I believe that albums are just, they're really good, little snapshots of where you are at
Yeah.
points. But I'm really happy how everything worked out with, that I could go back to the States, and I didn't have my apartment anymore in Brooklyn, but I went there, could see all my friends and hang out. And but then I went and set up camp in North Carolina, outside of Carver, where there's a lot of
Mm.
musician friends who live down there, and it was a very, very grateful for that time. Yeah,
Yeah, North Carolina, that whole area, Carborough, Asheville, Durham, is really like a hub these days for
yeah,
independent art, independent music. I mean, I know you recorded with Nick Sanborn, the whole
yeah,
The Sylvanesso family's down there, Mountain Man's down there, and Jim Lee's down there. So many good people are there now. Um,
yeah.
what was it like sort of taking these songs down to North Carolina? Because there is kind of a country bent to a lot of what you do, but I feel like it's pretty pronounced on this record. It's not necessarily a country album. I mean, not that that'd be a bad thing, but do you think that working with these people, with Nick in North Carolina, do you think that had any influence on the sort of palette of this record?
It's a good question. It's a really good question because yeah. So we're in the South, but then there's a lot of Wisconsinites who who moved to, like the Cook brothers and Nick, and I mean Justin Vernon lived there for a while back in
And
the
isn't
days.
Amelia from
And
Vermont? Like no one's really from there.
yeah. That's I mean there is there. I mean there. I think I think TJ is originally from North Carolina, but then he's lived in New York for many years.
Hmm.
Yeah, I so there's a I never. I mean, all those people are from like they've been on such great records and different sounding kind of records. From Sylvanesso's glitchiness to Megaphone that the
Hmm.
Cook brothers used to be in, and Mountain Man that with a million. So yeah, I never really thought about that of country music, but then you know I always had a. I mean, I sing about it on the song Major League
Hmm.
because when I was a kid over here in Sweden, I was just watching American movies and listening to American music, and uh, the Major League movies came out, like the baseball comedies that it just made me think that I was watching movies from like New York and LA and Cleveland, and in my movie, I just thought Cleveland was just had the same stature as New York. It was like with that. So I think I always had a longing for America and American music, and maybe it's like with this album that I'm not, I I don't, I'm not, I'm not, I'm not cool anyway. And like what I'm doing, I'm a white dude playing the guitar. So it's like I could just do whatever I want and just like be passionate about all the things I want to be passionate about. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe, but yes, maybe it's more like if I would have gathered some musicians here in Sweden in a studio in Stockholm, and like there's people that are really great at playing country music here, but you know maybe it just came out easier like with among people where it's been a natural part of upbringing, where it's been on the radio and it's been you could actually go and watch country music and hear country music where it's not a part of the gimmicky American country show here in Sweden.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's it, it's me, because I started touring in America in 2008, and I've been there so much since, and lived there for 5 years. And just I started touring in 2008, just on like at the end of just when Obama got in power, and like here over in Europe, we came from Bush,
Mm-hmm.
and then here over in Europe, we there's been this, there hasn't been any what do you say, any layers to how it was like around the Bush years. It was really easy to make, like, Europeans made fun of Americans,
Mm-hmm.
just like because he was. And then I lived there when during Trump, and just like, oh, so it's just this snobbery from Europe of just like, oh, look at America. Like I started touring there, and just like I saw when it's a continent. It's like here like in Sweden there are 10 million people
Right.
in a country that could hold millions and millions more. It's like there's so it's easier to have a functioning healthcare system. I'm not saying that I don't want to. I do want it to change in America, but it's like it's
Yeah.
kind of easy to gloat from over here when it's just like it's such a small population and easily controlled. So I was just traveling so much in America and meeting so many people and experienced like the amazing live music culture that we didn't have over here to the same. Like here was more towards the weekends where you could play a show, because
Mm-hmm.
people need to drink a lot. Like when you play small shows in the beginning, so you couldn't play like a small town on a Wednesday because no one could do that, because then they couldn't go to work the next day. So I can't, and it's just like it was really it was really important for me as to become a person, to become a person with confidence, that could feel that I could actually do something in this world. I can try to take the anxieties I have and all that and turn it into something positive. Music.
Mm-hmm.
And over in America I could play. I've met many people, other musicians. So but maybe it's not until now with this album where I just like fully could just like uh, draw from my experiences of living in America and being friends with these people for a long time. So yeah, just
Mm.
let the country out. I guess "Goodbye" is the most countryish song on that.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I mean, it is sort of a sort of lovely thing hearing you talk about how this record almost feels like this communion, especially coming after 3 or so years of a lot of isolation for a lot of people. So it kind of makes sense then that this record ends up being a little bit fuller and has more people on it, and kind of represents that coming back together and being able to see people again. I mean, you played live. I mean, there are so many records made over COVID, but they weren't made live most of the time. So
No.
that's really lovely that you have this document now of people at the tail end of COVID getting together in a room and playing music together.
Yeah, all at this. I'm not. I can only speak for myself, but I felt that with a lot of other people, where I always try to be, grateful that I get to do this, and that I have a mind and a body that is fitting for touring. that could do that. It works for, but maybe no, not maybe, way more. Now you came to this like, oh my God, have I been taking this for granted? Like this thing that I've been doing my whole life, and am I not taking like the opportunities that come up, and like, or the opportunity with opportunities, I mean like the beautiful moments you can have with another person, and like the things you can create, and that it's like in the studio for the, was not nervous at all about like if anyone's going to like this music, or where my career is going, or like I would say, for like, honestly, like for the first time, because I've said that in the past, like I don't care, I've always cared. You're always a little nervous. Like I was nervous because I grew up, I didn't have, I don't come, I'm not from money, and I had a lot of shitty jobs that that I could have ended up doing, but I got to do this instead. So I think at one point, after my career started to go better and better, and it's very comfortable, and having this life, and then in the studio it would sneak in like, am I risking this amazing life that I'm having with doing this? But so I've always had that, but now for the first time I just felt that is just a waste of energy and time, like, because look at Phil Cook over there, look at him over the piano. Like, what is he playing right now? Like, laugh and smile, and it's just like, feel it for real, and just like be here in the moment. And I think we all really were.
Yeah. So one last question about the record.
Yeah.
I'm especially drawn to the title track. You do tend, I think, to have, maybe not every single album now that I'm talking about this, but you often will have like one or two sort of piano ballads worked into your albums. But this one, so Phil Cook played the piano on this track, is that correct?
That's correct.
On the Henry Street track.
Yes.
Was the creation of the song a collaboration between you guys, or I guess what's the sort of story behind the song? And I'm also curious, of course, how it was chosen as the title track.
Well, I have to say that it became a collaboration because of this one detail. Because I I had the song written, and I like I played the piano myself, everything except the outro. What I had, I played it similar. I would just say, like, probably say similar to something that Phil played later, but just way chunkier, and not with the tone and the finesse that I not even close. It was just it would have carried the song, and I was like, I knew like this needs to be a solo piano song, like, because it's such a, it was to me, it's like, it's almost like it's the low point of the album in Hope, because I feel the whole album is, it's abstract and that, but to me the whole feeling of the album and the songs were this, just like that, you know because it's world is super dark. And there's just so many things like that we've even forgotten about. Like there's been a pandemic of all the injustices and like go on and on. But like I made this album about like that weird thing, like why, but we still, it's so easy to give up. It's so easy to give up and become cynical and just like, you know, become a internet hater or something. But that is so, but somehow, we fall in love and we laugh with friends, even though there's all these things going on around us. And there's this, I mean, this from my own experience, like I felt like during the pandemic, I stopped playing music, stopped writing music. It was just too depressing. So, but then there's something it doesn't give, like that little stubborn, curious thing in you that, like, even though the outlooks are really bad, like there must be a positive way out of this. And that's what I felt every song is about in a way on the album. But Henry Street is the one where it's just about, like, when you come to the point, like damn, should I just give up? Like it's too hard. It's too hard. And I didn't realize this until after, but that song didn't have like a but what if, like that thing, like a lot of the other songs, like but like that, but like it's really hard, but it didn't have that. It's just like it's just a it's just a cry wank about, like, everything is just so hard. So you go, but then I was in the studio and like, why should I, like Phil is here, like, oh, it was on the first day Phil was there. And I was like, of course I shouldn't play. Like, what am I doing? Why am I here at the piano? And I just called Phil, like, hey, can we do this? And I mean, I will remember this, forever, when he's like, I'm playing the song and he's just like leaning over me. And, I known Phil for for a long time. We toured together, and it's just like him just like humming and like reaching over me and playing at the same time. Like okay, okay, yeah, sure, okay, okay, great. And he sits down by himself and he gets to play it, and he adds all the transition chords and all the beautiful stuff. And then we start to record. I'm over in the vocal booth, so we're isolated, and then we just look at each other through the glass and we play. He starts to play and we play, and then he just riffs that thing, the outro in the end, where it's just like it's like Charlie Brown's Christmas and Mozart and jazz at the same time. And that becomes I made a music video to that song later where I pretend to be drunk and just walk around in Amsterdam. But then I start to dance in traffic in the middle of the night during that. And that outro is that little notion of, but what if, like, but there is still some hope. And that is expressed instrumental in that song by Phil Cook. So it is a collaboration to make that, because the song wouldn't have been far from that good without Phil doing that. So, and then I had to like for a whole year I practiced piano to be able to do that, to play like Phil. I'm still not, I don't have his touch, but I can play the notes now, I can play the outro and all that. And thanks to that, and this is why I think it's such a cool life to live, and I'm so grateful for it, because I had to, it was so much more advanced than my clunky playing, but I just had to learn that. So I just played hours and hours and hours, and thank God I have a very forgiving, not forgiving. She, like my partner, my girlfriend, she have heard this song a lot over the last year, but it's in my hands now. And because I had to do that, I got to look into Phil Cook's brain a little. I got a
Mm-hmm.
sneak peek, like what, like the chords, the chords and the the ways he go, like why did he choose to do that? And from that, I become a way better piano player. I can play the piano way better now, like playing other songs, just because
Mm-hmm.
I got that lesson from Phil Cook. So that is it's a pretty encouraging thing as a 4-year-old that you could. There's still like amazing stones to be turned.
So you find now that you can play uh There's No Leaving Now better?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
haven't played. I put that to rest though, but like with I'm writing new songs and I sit down, I do versions of my own songs and do a little improv here on shows once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I had this I had this I usually don't care much about reviews anymore. That's another thing where growing up is great, but here, here in Sweden I did a double 2 nights in Gothenburg and got the weirdest review, and I hadn't read it unless my mother had just like texted me in the morning and sent the review. And it's like, but what does he mean? Is it good or is it bad? Like, what can you explain? And just like, oh my god. And it's the climate for music journalism in Sweden is it's it's special. There's a lot of dudes that
Mm-hmm.
kind of want to take everything down and they're kind of like 10 years behind. They're kind of like a mean pitchfork from 10 years ago. I was just like, I don't, but in all the way he was explaining how great I was and how the band was and how professional we were and how like we could play effortlessly and I could sing, but I made the wrong choice of coming to Gothenburg, the working class town, and just like be proud of it. That I just like didn't uh I just didn't I I was too. It was too of an extravagant of a show. It was too expressive, and that's
Hmm.
a very. We have this like in the Swedish psyche. You're not supposed to be better than anyone else. Like
Right.
everyone's should be on level. You're not supposed to stand out. But he, the the headline was like it's like the Robbie Williams of troubadours was the headline. So then I
Okay.
just like on the second night, I could just sit down by the piano. I was going to play the piano, and all of a sudden I could play like Angels with Robbie Williams. I played a little of that, and I couldn't have just riffed on that if it weren't for Phil Cook playing Henry Street.
Well, there you go.
I'm ranting, I know.
No, that's fine. This show's about ranting. It's fine. All right. So to switch gears now
Yes,
in our home stretch. So last summer, I'm just going to tell you a really tragic story of mine. Last summer,
okay.
I had the good fortune
Listen.
for the first time ever to get to the Newport Folk Festival.
Yes,
And I was there for 2 days, and Sunday was not one of those days. And uh, I came home Sunday morning, and I got home, and I was just living my life, blah blah blah. And then Monday morning, I woke up and saw the headlines that I had missed Joni Mitchell,
yeah,
and I saw you there. I know you were around.
yeah.
I was far too bashful to say hi. um, I would now. I would now.
Yeah, I won't bite.
I know. I
And,
know.
yeah,
But did you get to see her?
I did. I did.
How was that?
Uh, well, I was kind of just was crying a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is something I had never thought that I would be that I would get to to see in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was me and my the artist Court Marie Andrews is a
Mm-hmm.
friend, and
Mm-hmm.
the artist Joanna Samuels is a friend. We were and Courtney's boyfriend. We were just like four people, and just like we couldn't really see from where we were standing on the side stage. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like, so we just like, what are like what are we doing here? So we just went out into the crowd and just like try to find places to see it, and just like uh and just found ourselves in like trying to get better spots. But then we just started crying because this here's the thing that they had all been talking about how Joni can't sing anymore, and like
Right, right.
how and she's gonna get help. And um why am I losing her name now? B
Brandy Carlisle?
that yeah, Brandy Carlisle. It's like she's gonna help her to sing and all that. And then so Joni like sang a little on some songs, and then she started singing more and more, and you could hear that she could definitely sing, and like both sides now. And I'm just crying.
Mm.
This like this, and just like we didn't. Courtney had played the festival too. We just didn't care about if people saw us, or
Yeah.
it was just such a magical moment. And like I mean, God bless her, but like we were just like, he's just like, Brandy, just shut up, let her sing. Like there's just so much going on that stage, and like just like let Joni sing, and then she didn't not just sing, she played an instrumental
Yeah.
on her Parker Fly electric guitar, and just like very nimble playing. We were just like all these things we've heard in the couple of days, like Joni might come and she can't play. It was it was it was yeah, it was really really magical, I have to say.
Yeah,
And
I was
yeah,
very sad. I was very sad to hear that I missed it, but obviously I was ecstatic that it happened. It was definitely something that I think most of us were led to believe would never happen again. Um,
yeah,
and I know that she had been doing those Joni jams with some of her friends and with Brandy, but like those were, relatively private affairs, and I don't think anyone
yeah,
knew that was ever going to happen again. So I'm very happy that she was able to do it. And I mean, from what I've heard and seen of it, it sounded great.
yeah. Because that was the big, because we since we all heard the rumors, being at Newport, like
Hmm.
that it was like, but it's like all the rumor things every year, I
Right.
think. And then of course they do happen. And then but like to have that, but she will just sing a little, and but then so that was what we were expecting. And then just like to hear, or actually yeah, I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still, it's hard to,
Um, I remember once on one of your like live stream things that you did a few times during COVID.
yeah,
I think you sang a cover of Both Sides Now and you called it the best song ever written.
yeah.
Um, I don't know, I'm not gonna ask you if you stand by that, but I am gonna ask you what do you think it is about that song that makes it so special to you and to so many others?
Yeah, I mean, I say that about a lot of songs all the time, because when something hits, it's just
Yeah,
like
no,
this.
for sure.
But I do, but I kind of want to stand behind that. Couldn't it? Could probably be, you can't.
It
Yeah,
is it is a perfect song.
yeah, no, I mean, I guess it's just how it's how it just it's really hard to be a human, and we try. It goes through like the love and life, and also as a musician and performer, it's that thing about the circus, and like know that's pretty easy to connect to it in the
Hmm.
lyrics. But it's, I mean, it's so perfectly like written, and like how she, and I'm an advocate for the late version with the strings.
Oh yeah, no, it's
The
me
Yeah,
too. That's so beautiful.
because it's just like there she actually lived
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and just the delivery of just like I really don't know life. It's just,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the soprano sax solo in the end.
Mm.
It's
I'm
pretty
glad I'm not the
pretty
only one
magical.
who has a soft spot for that version.
No, it's I mean, why it's yeah. I I I I'm I'm glad you have that one. That's your first.
It's kind of like when Kate Bush did that album where she made new versions of her old songs and she like fully revamped this woman's work.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, but
yeah,
this is like kind of better now. Like somehow she made it so much different and better in some ways because there's that lived inness, that lived in quality that I think you can just
yeah,
hear.
yeah. And I am I am definitely no Kate Bush or Joni Mitchell, though they've been such big parts of my life. But that the thing that I do on that I get to do on live shows all the time because I'm not 23 like when I wrote um, some of my first songs, and I can update them all the time
Hmm.
like live because and there's a lot of songs to me that doesn't start to make sense to me until now
Mm.
of just like because it's very and it's natural you're like confused in your early 20s and just like I'm just writing all these songs, but I've always considered like they're they're everyone. Like when you're making recording, that's everyone. So you do it, but then playing it, it's just like it's just my songs. I can just do whatever I. But I guess I do that with other people's songs too. So it's just like it's all about like to find the place where you could do the best delivery of like of actual actual emotions and just like not
Yeah,
just not being a tape recorder, I guess.
yeah. I want to play a quick little game before we leave.
Yeah, great.
And it actually ties in quite well with what you're just talking about. Um, are you aware of the website Setlist FM?
I am not.
So basically, it's like really nerdy fans like myself and many others will like record down the set list of every show that someone plays. So
Gotta
if
love
you
them.
came, yeah, so if you came to New Haven and I felt like, nerding out, I would jot down on my phone like, okay, this is the song, these are the order, and then later that night or the next morning I'd go plug it in. Um, so I looked up, I don't know, it doesn't get every single show because obviously there are shows people don't record, but it gets a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I looked up
Oh.
what your top 5 most performed ever songs are. And
Yeah.
I'm curious if you can get them all. I'm kind of confident you can.
So, okay. Love Is All. Let's put on
Yes,
there.
that's on there. Yep, that's number 2.
The Dreamer,
Yep, that's number 5.
King of Spain.
That's number 3.
Okay, so two more.
You have 1 and 4.
The Gardener.
That's number 1. There you go.
Okay, but then you have to think about years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I'm gonna get this one wrong. But could it be a song that I don't play anymore? Wait, could it be I Won't Be Found?
No, it's not that. I Won't Be Found is
Okay.
number 9. I'll give you one more guess and then I'll just tell
Okay.
you.
What songs do I have?
I
What
could give
songs
you a
do I
really,
play?
really, really obvious hint if you need it.
I really need it.
It's a title track.
Oh, The Wild Hunt.
There you go.
No? Oh, it was it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, according to
I played
according to Setlist FM, you have played the Wild Hunt 204 times. That has to be low,
oh,
but
wow.
that's what they say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that song I guess when after it came out and for a couple of years I played that as it how it's recorded on the album, but I just made so many different versions of that song so I it didn't it didn't pop up in my head because I feel like they're like almost like different songs. Like on this tour, I opened the show with it, but I play it
Oh.
on like on mandolin on this little like
Oh.
loopy pattern, like picking on Wild Hunt, and then bam, that went into Sagaris from Darkbird is Home with the full band kicking in. So playing on
Cool.
mandolin, yeah. Oh, that was a fun game. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always curious about. I'm sort of a nerd about like music stats like that. So, for what it's worth, you've played Sagres 93 times,
Okay.
according to this website, anyway.
Well, we have to
All right.
believe it.
Yeah, I know. The internet says it. Thank you very much, Kristian, for this hour of your time. I had fun talking to you, and I'm very grateful that you agreed to come hang out for a bit.
Jeremy, I'm really grateful you wanted to have me on. Thank you so much. This was great.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.